This is me, the senior superstar of the show. As you see, everybody happy, having fun. If it wasn't for this bloody camera. On Wednesday, the 23rd of January 2019, we lost a great musician in Zimbabwe, the biggest international artist to ever come out of Zimbabwe. And I was privileged to work with him for 4 years as a full-time musician and about 7 to 8 years as a part-time musician. I joined his band on Tuesday, the 4th of February 2003, and we traveled together around the world. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to remember him and explain some of the lessons that I learned from him through the video clips that I used to shoot. Because in 2005 I bought a video camera. I used to move around with that camera and take some shots backstage and so I still have the clips, so I'm going to use those clips to explain some of the stuff that I learned during the time that I worked with the great man. So here we go. The way Tuku was respected in Zimbabwe was okay. Yes, he was respected, he was loved a lot, but the way he was respected in other countries, it was something else. In most countries that we visited, he was treated almost like a head of state, and I was so surprised because I didn't know that that was his status, especially outside Zimbabwe. So in that first clip, we had arrived in Malawi, and you can see the journalists around at the airport queuing to give him an interview. Then on that second clip, we had arrived in Kenya, and again, he was given a red carpet treatment with some models who came to greet him and some officials from different departments, and he was given presents at the airport. And this impressed me a lot because I didn't know that he was that big, especially all around Africa, because I had moved with him around Europe and around North America and USA and Canada. But I didn't know that all around Africa it was that huge. And countries that even surprised me more are countries like Uganda and Ethiopia. I thought they knew nothing about him in those countries, but I was surprised when we started playing some of his hit songs, and the crowd went wild, especially the song Todini. And even in South Africa, some concerts he would enter with a police escort. And I remember the other time there was a roadblock, and the promoters went and spoke to the police and told them, "You have blocked Mtukudzi is rushing to the airport," and the roadblock was dismantled. Oh, no, that's how powerful the man was. Tuku was known to be somebody who really loved comedy. He was a joker, he was a comedian, he always loved to joke. And I think it's an attribute that is found in most musicians. That's why you notice that even some of the most popular comedians, even here in Zimbabwe, they are also musicians. Even around the world, even in USA. So Tuku was one such person. And on this clip now, which I'm going to show, we were in UK, we were checking in at a hotel, and as usual, I had brought out my camera and started to shoot. And when he saw that I was shooting towards this direction, he changed the way he was walking. He started bouncing. We call it kubamba here in Zimbabwe. And he started bouncing just to give me a show. So that's a very funny clip. And then on this clip, he saw me shooting, and then he started to address me. And every time he saw me with the camera, he used to call me the paparazzi.
I want to tell you something. I'm here for business. And if I'm here for business, I need to get my guitar and tune my guitar in time. And you paparazzi, I don't know what you're here for.
I'm here for business as well.
So, let me show you camera. Come on, show you. This is changing number one.
Okay.
I don't know whether. Oh, yes.
So that's how he was. Generally, he was just somebody who was just a happy person. He was almost like a kid. Oliver Mtukudzi had a very interesting relationship with his band members. He was not the type of boss who wanted to be feared. With music, we use inspiration, we don't use fear. In the army, you use fear. In the military, you use fear. But with music, we don't use fear, we use inspiration. So Tuku really understood that. So he always wanted to joke with everybody. So in this clip that I'm going to show, we were in Madagascar in 2005. And Tuku used to play his guitar every time we were backstage or before we went on stage, just flexing his fingers and also creating melodies for his future compositions, or if he had a work in progress which he was working on. So this time he was playing something, and then Jaros just came in. Jaros was still a new member in the band, and when Jaros came into the band, everybody expected as somebody who is new, he was going to be calm and timid, but Jaros was totally the opposite. Jaros Hamba, the keyboard player. So he was talkative, he was loud, and he was everywhere. He was just wild. So he came in when Tuku was playing this song, and then he just started rapping. And then you would expect Tuku to be angry since Jaros was disturbing him, but Tuku being Tuku, he just went along, and Bobby Mchikasera came, and then he started assisting Jaros. So let's watch the clip.
Say, loving you is like a song I play every 10 minutes and every second of every day, and every chorus was in force to recite every beautiful method. You're pushing every night. This what's the mic, this what's the mic, can we be? And the bar coffee was in the lesson to memory, and every word, every second, and every word. Blessed the happiness, hopefully they never heard. And when I play every chord is a poem. Telling the Lord I wept my hands with an organ. Harmonies possess a sensation similar to your caress. And if you ask me, I'm telling you,
would sometimes exchange positions. Maybe Mary, the big vocalist, will go on drums, and Piki, the big vocalist, will go on lead guitar and started imitating how I play the guitar, and Bobby will go on the microphone and pretend to be Piki and play with the microphone. Jaros will pretend to be Kenny or Tuku. Namatai will pretend to be Neva Mpofu and play the bass. So it was just some fun that we used to have on tour. You know how it is on tour. At times the pressure is too much. You are working a lot. You don't have enough time to sleep. You miss home and everything. So if you don't entertain yourselves, you end up fighting. So that's one thing that I used to love about the band. And then on that clip, we were in this country, must be Burundi. We were in Burundi. And we were playing the game of mini soccer slag. And how many of you can do that with your bosses? Do you just go and play mini soccer, play snooker? So that's how Tuku was with his band.
First, shoot. Come on. In the front now, the front. Shoot. In the front. Shoot zipper. Shoot zipper.
On this clip, we were on tour in USA. The crowd was not allowed to come backstage. This was to allow the musicians to rest. Debbie, the manager, really wanted Tuku to rest because she was very concerned about his health and everything. So she really wanted him to rest. So she was very strict with the security. She would tell them, please don't allow people to come here because I want Tuku to rest before he goes back on stage, blah, blah, blah. But on this gig, I don't know how fans infiltrated the backstage. I don't know whether they bribed the security guards or whatever happened, I don't know, but we just found ourselves with a lot of fans backstage. At first it was just a few, and then later on the numbers came going up until Zimbabweans in the area. You know what Zimbabweans do? Zimbabweans always come to the shows late. So I'm sure these guys had come to the show late because this show was not organized by Zimbabweans. So usually such shows, they start on time, and Zimbabweans usually come 30 minutes later or 1 hour later. So I think this is exactly what happened on this one. But the point that I'm trying to make is Tuku was very polite to his fans. And if it was somebody else, he would have kicked them out and told them that he wanted to rest. But he just accommodated them, and they took pictures with him. And I could see the manager, Debbie, was caught in between wanting Tuku to rest and trying to be polite to the fans as well, but she was also very diplomatic and very wise. She didn't want to be rude to the fans, and she didn't know how to how to react, so she was just pacing up and down, forcing herself to smile. But she really wanted Tuku to rest, and she had no idea on how to take the fans out. Now on this clip, we're in USA moving to Canada. Everybody was tired, everybody was sleeping, and Jairus, like I mentioned earlier, Jairus was too new, but Jairus was just noisy, angry and noise. And he was busy singing whilst everybody was fast asleep, and of course he was getting some support from Bobby Mchikasira. And these guys were not, they were the youngest in the band, and I remember Debbie used to call them the kids. The good thing is everybody tolerated them. Everybody knew that these guys were still young, and but they still had a lot of energy. You know, when it was fun, and Jody Jairus was still new, and he was that wild. I don't know one would. Some people are just funny. This clip, we were in Ethiopia, and he was rehearsing the song Ucharoya Chet. I don't know what name was given to the song after we recorded it. I'm sure it must be on the album Nava or Tsimbai Tsoka Ndakangonotinonzi song as the real title Cheche. So he was rehearsing backstage, and we were just sitting and relaxing while he rehearsed. That's what he used to do every time. He used to rehearse inside the backstage or during sound check.
Caught up with the restraint, but they played my game and won a round of whiskey. Did my better team. My sister would have been drowned in Savannah.
They're stuck in Burundi.
Push the country.
mufundisi.
Muri kufa kangani koneyo?
Akandeke chinaini kufunga mfundisi. Last time I told him, kana ndakufa ndokufonera.